Hello, 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 and welcome to the online Goldney Garden Party, hosted by Amnesty International Bristol. My name's Helen, I'm the Vice Chair of the Bristol group, and I'm going to be your host for today. Now, we've got some really exciting things coming up. We've got music by the Bristol Ukulele Club Band. We've got music by Andy Danford, who's a singer-songwriter, guitarist and banjo player, and music by Char featuring Mike Righteous. We've also got an amazing quiz. We've got a Q&A with the director of Amnesty International UK, Kate Allen, and loads more stuff for you. So I'm really excited. Unfortunately, I'm not actually at the beautiful grounds of Goldney Hall in Clifton in Bristol today, because for the first time in many years, we've had to move this event online due to COVID-19. But I'm really glad you can all join us today. Goldney's is our biggest fundraiser of the year, and so we're also hoping to raise a little bit of money today for Amnesty International for the human rights work that they do. There's a link underneath this video, so if you do have a bit of spare money, please consider donating. Now, to introduce this event properly and to talk about Goldney some more is the Chair of Bristol Amnesty International, Hannah.
Hi, I'm Hannah, and it's my privilege as Chair of the Bristol Amnesty International Group to welcome you all to our Goldney Garden Party. I'm sure some watching will know the history better than me, but I believe it first started in 1983, and as far as I know, it's taken place every year, which will make this the 38th year the group has held the event. Now, of course, like so many people, we've had to adapt, and I want to take this chance to thank everyone who has made sure the event can take place this year. Good writers borrow, great writers steal. Amnesty's most important achievements can be measured in human lives. Lives saved, prisoners released, threats averted. This is the constant thread which runs through its history. Now, those words are from Stephanie Grant, Amnesty's first ever researcher. Amnesty is made up of ordinary people from all walks of life, all around the world, standing up for humanity and human rights. This is our strength, and it means the money and time members and supporters give to Amnesty makes a huge difference to the global struggle for human rights. Thank you for being one of those ordinary people who has decided to support this event today. Whether you've always attended Goldney or the online version is your first ever time, you are very welcome. and I hope you'll enjoy all the classic components of Goldney we've moved online and see just how easy it is to be involved with Amnesty and stand up for human rights. If you feel moved and you're able, you can donate to Amnesty via our fundraiser page. The link's in the video description. Now, to borrow some more words from Shakilia Jackson, an activist fighting for justice for her brother Nakia, who was shot by the police in Jamaica, together we are stronger. The Bristol Amnesty International group meets on the first Monday of every month to learn about and campaign on human rights. Whether you can come every month or once in a blue moon, you are always welcome. We normally also have 3 letter writing groups in the city: Clifton, Gloucester Road and Bedminster, and we intend to start these up again as soon as we can safely do so. Letters can influence political decisions, but also give much needed hope to activists around the world. An activist, Elma from Peru, said, "I received with much joy and emotion the beautiful cards and your encouraging message of solidarity. Thank you very much." 625 people are members of our Facebook community, keeping up to date with issues, signing and sharing when they can. And you can join by searching for Bristol Amnesty International on Facebook. Although COVID's forced many events to be postponed, we've taken part in some virtually, and we're really looking forward to having a presence at many in future, including things like celebrating Sanctuary and Bristol Pride. Now, these occasions give us a chance to raise the profile of the work Amnesty International is doing and attract more people to campaign for the people and issues which change lives. So this isn't just a welcome message, but an invitation to join us, because each time someone takes a decision to give their time, whether you have days, hours, or just minutes, we improve the impact we can have. I remember in 2015 watching the overcrowded lifeboats in the Mediterranean. And these boats didn't just contain statistics in the water, but families, some together and some separated. They contained people, maybe homesick and very likely scared, but people also motivated by hope with what the future could hold. Now, how many times over the years have we seen images like that etch on our memory and make us feel uncomfortable? It's too complicated. I'm too busy. I'm only one person. Doing nothing can be the easiest thing in the world, but it's not always the right thing. I watched those lifeboats and I knew I had to do something. I didn't know what, and I wasn't sure I could make a difference, but I knew I had to try. You don't have to do it all. You don't have to do it all the time, and you don't need to do it by yourself, but do something, because together we are stronger.
Thank you, Hannah. Now, we're going to have some music really shortly, but with Hannah's call to action in mind, we've got our group's treasurer, Sarah, who's going to introduce a short video about women's rights in Iran.
Hi, I'm Sarah, a keen Amnesty Bristol member, and usually to be found behind the tea urn at the Goldney garden party. I hope you're also enjoying this virtual event and that you've got your beverage of choice and a morsel of cake to keep you company. We all love the fun of Goldney and the chance to meet with like-minded people and campaign for global human rights. So I wanted to share with you a video where Amnesty Ambassador Nazanin Boniadi tells us of the plight of Iranian women unjustly imprisoned for defending human rights, and consequently so at risk from COVID. As you watch the video, look out for the on-screen links and take action to stand up for these women. Thank you.
Meet some of the inspirational women held in Iran's Evin prison. They're prisoners of conscience who should have never been in prison in the first place. As COVID-19 continues to spread through the country, these women remain unjustly behind bars. Nasrin Sotoudeh is a human rights lawyer. She's been sentenced to 38 years in prison and 148 lashes simply for saying that women should be able to wear what they want and for fighting to end the death penalty. This is the harshest sentence we've documented in Iran against a human rights defender in recent years. Yasaman and her mother Monireh also campaigned against forced veiling. They handed out flowers on International Women's Day. This is how Iran tries to silence women's rights activists. Iran is failing to keep prisoners safe as the coronavirus spreads. Prisons are overcrowded and unhygienic, and the virus is spreading. We've campaigned for the release of prisoners in Iran before and won. Nasrin and Yasaman urgently need us to keep winning. Can you help? Stand with Yasaman. Stand with Nasrin.
That was great, and there's a link to some of the actions you can take regarding women's rights in Iran underneath this video, so please go and take a look at those. We've got some music coming next, but after the music is the first part of the quiz, so grab something you can write with and start thinking about your quiz team names. Now, take it away, the Bristol Ukulele Club Band.
Hey everyone, we are the Bristol Ukulele Club Band, and we're going to sing a few songs for you now, so hope you enjoy them. And off we go. A 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. Mama don't allow no music play around here. Mama don't allow no music play around here. We don't care what Mama don't allow. We're gonna play our music anyhow. Mama don't allow no music play around here. Mama don't allow no ukulele play around here. Mama don't allow no ukulele play around here. We don't care what Mama don't allow. We're gonna play our ukuleles anyhow. Mama don't allow no ukulele play around here. Mama don't allow no bass play around here. Mama don't allow no bass play around here. We don't care what Mama don't allow. Mama's gonna play bass anyhow. Mama don't allow no bass play around here. Mama don't allow no foot swing around here. Mama don't allow no foot swing around here. We don't care what Mama don't allow. Don't start me anyhow. Mama don't allow no foot swing around here. Mama don't allow no cars to play around here. Mama don't allow no cars to play around here. We don't care what Mama don't allow. Don't play cars to anyhow. Mama don't allow no cars to play around here. Mama don't allow no music play around here.
No, Steve-o.
Mama don't allow no music play around here. We don't care what Mama don't allow. We'll play music anyhow. Mama don't allow no music play around here. Hey, well done everyone. Very good. A 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. worry, be happy. The taxman's taken all my dough and left me in my stately home, lazing on a sunny afternoon. And I can't sail my yacht, he's taken everything I've got. All I've got's this sunny afternoon. Save me, save me, save me from this squeeze. I got a big fat mama trying to break me, and I love to live so pleasantly. I live this life of luxury, lazing on a sunny afternoon. In the summertime, in the summertime, in the summertime, my girlfriend's run off with my car and gone back to her ma and pa, telling tales of drunkenness and cruelty. Now I'm sitting here, sipping at my ice cold beer, lazing on a sunny afternoon. Help me, help me, help me sail away. I'll give you 2 good reasons why I ought to stay. 'Cause I love to live so pleasantly. I live this life of luxury, lazing on a sunny afternoon. In the summertime, in the summertime, in the summertime. Oh, save me, save me, save me from this squeeze. I got a big fat mama trying to break me, and I love to live so pleasantly. I live this life of luxury, lazing on a sunny afternoon. In the summertime, in the summertime, in the summertime. Nicely done, Hal. Mr. Helen Crayfair here. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a love in your eyes all the way. If I listen to your eyes, would you say I'm a man behind conviction? I'm a man doesn't know. I still say a contradiction. You come and go. You come and go. Come, chameleon. You come and go. You come and go. Loving for me, your colors are like my dreams. Red, gold, and green. Red, gold, and green. Come, chameleon. You come and go. You come and go. Loving would be easy if your colors are like my dreams. Red, gold, and green. Red, gold, and green. Come, chameleon. You come and go. You come and go. Loving would be easy if your colors were like my dreams. Red, gold, and green. Red, gold, and green. You're everywhere and nowhere, baby. That's where you're at. Going down the bumpy hillside in your hippie hat, flying across the country and getting fat, saying everything is groovy when his eyes are flat and it's high ho, silver lining. Anywhere that you go now, baby, I see your sun is shining, and I will make a fuss, although it's obvious. Lights in your pea soup, baby, they're waving at me. Anything you want is yours now. Only nothing for free. My life's gonna get you someday. Just wait and see. So put up your beach umbrella while you're watching TV, and it's high ho, silver lining. Anywhere you go now, baby, I see your sun is shining. I will make a fuss, although it's obvious. And it's high ho, silver lining. Anywhere you go now, baby, I see your sun is shining, but I will make a fuss, although it's obvious. And it's high ho, silver lining. Anywhere you go now, baby, I see your sun is shining, and I will make a fuss, although it's obvious. Although it's obvious. Although it's obvious. One more. Although it's obvious.
Oh, well done, everybody. Well done. Are we allowed to clap ourselves? Yes, we are. It's a virtual clap.
We all finished at the same time.
Right then, everybody okay? A one.
Thank you to the Bristol Ukulele Club Band. That was amazing. I really enjoyed that. Now it's time for the first part of our quiz. So get your pens and paper ready and put in the chat what your team names are. I'd love to hear them. Hopefully they're silly and funny. Whilst you're doing that, I'd just like to give you an update about our Just Giving page and how much we've raised, because so far we've raised an amazing £330. So thank you to everyone who's donated, and keep those donations coming in so we can continue our work on human rights. Thank you. So, who is ready for a quiz? Hopefully all of you. Let me know if I'm going too fast or too slow. Let's just kick off with question number 1. Which African animal means earth pig in Afrikaans? That's which African animal means earth pig in Afrikaans? Now for question 2, we're going over to the Bristol Amnesty Group's secretary, Dave.
Hello, my name's Dave. I'm the secretary of the group. It's great to see you here today and thank you for all your support. Here's a science question. What household product is chemically called sodium hypochlorite? Good luck.
Thank you, Dave. We've got a good team name. Someone said their team name's Spartacus. I like that. No, Smartacus. That makes more sense. Thank you, and keep those coming in. Time for question 3. Angela Merkel is a member of which political party? That's Angela Merkel is a member of which political party? Now for question 4, we've got a special guest. Over to Councillor Asher Craig.
Hi, I'm Councillor Asher Craig, Deputy Mayor of this fine city of ours, and thanks to Amnesty International Bristol, this year's Goldney Garden Party comes to you via Zoom. So I've been asked to pose you a question for your quiz. So here it is. On the 10th day of which month is Human Rights Day observed? I'll say that again. On the 10th day of which month is Human Rights Day observed? Good luck, everyone.
Thank you, Councillor Asher. That was great to hear from you. And don't worry if I'm going a bit fast, I can repeat questions at the end if that's necessary. So on to question 5. In which Christmas film does Will Ferrell play a man called Buddy? That's in which Christmas film does Will Ferrell play a man called Buddy? Question 6. Which is the highest mountain in Japan? Which is the highest mountain in Japan? Got some more good names coming in. Agatha Quiz Team or Know It Els. I like them. Question number 7. Which former US politician warned the world about global warming? First in the 2006 film An Inconvenient Truth, and later in 2017 in an inconvenient sequel, Truth to Power. Question number 8. Which London prison, which was opened in 1852, were jailed suffragettes force-fed in during their hunger strikes? That's which London prison, which opened in 1852, were jailed suffragettes force-fed in their hunger strikes? Question number 9. What city was once known as Constantinople? What city was once known as Constantinople? Question number 10. Callisto, Io and Europa are the moons of which planet? That's Callisto, Io and Europa are the moons of which planet? Question number 11. Only 2 countries have the outline of their country on their flag. One is Cyprus. What is the other? Only 2 countries have the outline of their country on their flag. One is Cyprus. What is the other? Now we're going back to Dave for question number 12.
Hi there, me again. Another science question. What sugar is in milk?
So that was question number 12. Which sugar is found in milk? Question 13. This is the final question of this part 1 of the quiz. Question 13. What is the first name of the Pakistani activist who came to prominence after being shot by the Taliban as a teenager? That's what is the first name of the Pakistani activist who came to prominence after being shot by the Taliban as a teenager? So that is the first part of the quiz. Does anybody want me to repeat any of those questions? Please write it in the chat. I think I'll give you a few minutes just to write your answers down. Meanwhile, I'm going to have some of my tea. I've also got some nice cake here, which I hope you do as well. I'm not going to eat it in front of you though, because I think that has the opportunity for being embarrassing. So I'm going to eat that in the break. Right, I haven't had any requests, so I think I'll just crack on with the answers. Okay. Oh, got a comment. Someone says, having done the obvious Spartacus gag, I'm actually going to call my team Scot-Free. Very good. I'm loving the team names. Okay. Answers to quiz part 1. Which African animal means earth pig in Afrikaans? That would be the aardvark. Now there's a point for each question. It says 13 questions in this first round, and then there's going to be 13 in part 2 as well. So Dave asked us, sodium hypochlorite is better known as which everyday chemical? That is bleach. Question number 3 was Angela Merkel is a member of which political party? That's the Christian Democratic Union. Now, Councillor Asher Craig asked us on the 10th of which month is Human Rights Day observed? That's December. So we've got a few human rights questions, but the whole quiz isn't human rights related, in case you're not so familiar with Amnesty. So number 5, in which Christmas film does Will Ferrell play a man called Buddy? That's Elf. It is, I think, quite a hilarious film if you haven't seen it. Question number 6. Which is the highest mountain in Japan? That is Fuji. Question number 7. Which former US politician warned the world about global warming? First in the 2006 film An Inconvenient Truth, and later in 2017 in An Inconvenient Sequel, Truth to Power. The answer is Al Gore. Question number 8. Which London prison, which opened in 1852, were jailed suffragettes force-fed in during their hunger strikes? That is Holloway. Question number 9. What city was once known as Constantinople? That is, of course, Istanbul. Question number 10. Callisto, Io and Europa are the moons of which planet? That is Jupiter. Number 11. Only 2 countries have the outline of their country on their flag. One is Cyprus and the other is Kosovo. And Dave asked us which sugar is found in milk, and that's lactose. And finally, question number 13. What is the first name of the Pakistani activist who came to prominence after being shot by the Taliban? That is Malala Yousafzai. Now, in 2014, she of course became the youngest person ever to win the Nobel Peace Prize at the age of 17. And she's just graduated from Oxford as well. Not bad going for such a young person. Now, how did everybody get on? Was that too hard? Too difficult? Let us know in the chat. Thank you, everybody. And now I'm going to hand over to Angus, who's a country coordinator, and he's going to speak about police brutality in Jamaica. Thank you, Angus.
Hello everyone. having a lovely virtual garden party, and you're eating lots of cake and taking lots of action, and you've got some great speakers. I am. Thank you very much indeed for having me, by the way. And my name is Angus Watson, and I am a member of the NAMCAR team, the North America Caribbean team. And my role is to focus on the English-speaking Caribbean. And I am here to talk to you about some work that we're doing on Jamaica. And I know that many of you in Bristol were involved in the Time for Justice campaign and did some brilliant work. And so, for those who are new to it, the campaign, I guess, in a nutshell, focused on police accountability in response to the killing of hundreds of young men in the country. And there was like a total culture of impunity, and it focused on supporting and protecting families of victims who were campaigning for justice, and in the face of intimidation and death threats and violence from the police. So I'm going to ask you to take a few actions today, if possible, if not later on. So a key part of the campaign was to strengthen police accountability mechanisms, and that included the Independent Commission into Police Killings, which is called INDECOM, and that was set up to investigate and prosecute bad cops, basically. And we also saw, since it was established in 2010, a dramatic reduction in police killings, and so it was also acting as a powerful deterrent. Now, INDECOM is currently facing a challenge to its power to arrest and prosecute, and without these powers, to be honest, it's pretty redundant. So Amnesty is calling on the Jamaican Prime Minister. It's an international call. All Amnesty offices will be lobbying the Prime Minister and lobbying their own foreign ministers to apply pressure to the Jamaican government to make sure that INDECOM retains these really important powers. And so we'd like you to directly contact the Prime Minister via social media, via his Facebook account, and via Twitter and Instagram. And I'm going to copy and paste those contact details and the suggested messaging in the chat box just after this. I guess it couldn't be more relevant when you think about what's happening in the US with Black Lives Matter and the killing of George Floyd, with everyone, the world feeling a collective sense of, outrage and grief and demanding reforms and, accountability. And so with that in mind, I would like you to, please do take these. It's a social media action at the moment. And there will be more things that we will ask you to do over the next few months. And so I am going to now introduce a short film that was made for Right for Rights in 2017, and this focuses on Shakelia Jackson, who I know some of you have a relationship with and some of you have met, and she really is an extraordinarily brave and inspiring human rights defender. I spoke to her last week. She's now living in New York and studying in New York, and we had a really good conversation, and we're hopefully going to be able to do some work with her over the next few months or so. So I'd like to introduce this little film that was made about her, and I'll be sticking around and drinking tea and eating cake and maybe having a beer and watching the proceedings. So thank you very, very, very much indeed for everything you do. And see you around.
went to the hospital, I ran inside. I noticed that he was on a gurney. So they started to wheel him towards me, and I'm no doctor, but I knew that the last sense that you lost was your hearing. And so I said, can I speak to him? And I said for the first time, I love you. If you told me I would have lost my brother to a police officer, any of my brothers, I would tell you you're telling a lie. I still have so many questions to my brother's death. I can't find any proper justification. He was shot under the armpit from the back, a few centimeters from his heart. That wasn't to neutralize a threat. Murder was the charge.
Jamaica is one of the most violent societies on earth. At the same time, Jamaica's police force is among the deadliest in the world. In this tiny nation with a population of less than 3 million, police kill hundreds of people every year.
We're walking into the Orangeville community where Nakia and I grew up. I'm entering my brother's restaurant, my brother Nakia Jackson's restaurant. This is the room in which he was murdered. The report was that my brother was killed because he looked like a Rastafarian man who had robbed a gas station, and that was sufficient for an officer to disregard his right to life.
Residents of Orange Villa in downtown Kingston were in anguish last week over what they claim was a clear case of indiscriminate police shooting.
I thought I had a good relationship with the security forces. I was probably one of their biggest advocates in terms of supporting them and their community policing mantras. So I didn't choose advocacy. Advocacy chose me. We will be having a gathering of the support group, helping other families to overcome their personal struggles.
People, let me tell you something. Police use their uniforms to do whatever they want to do. And they kill who they want to kill and get away with it.
We genuinely have to do something about it because we're hurting families. Sometimes from bloodshed comes change. As part of our thrust to really use this tragedy to positively impact the lives of others, we will have 3 days of activities taking place in commemoration of my brother's birthday. It's an unfortunate situation that brought me to this, but yet still we shall rise.
Thank you, Angus, and thank you for that really informative video. I've popped some information about how you can take action beneath this video, so please take a look at that. Now we're up to £380 in our fundraiser, so thank you so much to everyone who's donated, and keep those donations coming in. We got some scores from the quiz. Andrew got 9 out of 13, very good. Sarah got 11 out of 13, but she said she is a team of 2, so had a bit of help. But you're doing really well in the quiz. Hopefully maybe the second half might be a bit harder. That's coming up shortly, but first we've got music from Andy Danford. He's an amazing singer-songwriter, guitarist and banjo player. Take it away, Andy.
Hi there, my name is Andy Danford. I play in folk clubs around the Bristol area, southwest. Sometimes on my own, sometimes with a mate of mine in a duo called 12 Volt Joe. We played at the Amnesty Festival in the past. I'm also a strong Amnesty supporter and member, and I'm a volunteer at the wonderful Amnesty Bookshop on Gloucester Road. I'm going to do you 4 songs, excuse me, 2 on the banjo and 2 self-penned numbers on the guitar. And the first one on the banjo is an old gospel song called There's a Bright Side Somewhere. There's a bright side somewhere. There's a bright side somewhere. Ain't gonna rest until I find it. There's a bright side somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. Ain't gonna rest until I find it. There is more joy somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. Ain't gonna rest until I find it. There is more peace somewhere. There is more love somewhere. There is more love somewhere. Ain't gonna rest until I find it. There is more love somewhere. There's a bright side somewhere. There's a bright side somewhere. Ain't gonna rest until I find it. There's a bright side somewhere. Ain't gonna rest until I find it. There's a bright side somewhere. Thank you. The next song, it's actually in the same key, is an old country blues song that used to be sung by the likes of Mississippi John Hurt and Reverend Gary Davis, called Candyman. Candyman started up. Candyman Yay, Candyman. Okay, I'm going to switch to guitar now. Do a couple of my own songs. The first one is called I Kiss My Sweet Violet Farewell. And what it's actually about is the very sad fact of the huge decline in the number of meadows in the UK. All the nature historians tell you that they've declined by 97% since the end of World War II, since 1945, which is a pretty shocking number. So here we go. I Kiss My Sweet Violet Farewell. As I walked out one morning, a fair meadow I did find, and hiding in that meadow a sweet violet of the purest kind. And then I closed my eyes, I felt a cold wind blow, I heard the sound of man and a mournful crow. I saw chimneys dark on the skyline grow. I kissed my sweet violet farewell. Her dress was of the deepest purple, her scent was the sweetest bouquet, her smile was modest and bashful, her dance was playful and gay. And then I closed my eyes, I saw concrete grow with buildings tall, I heard a hammer blow, and a small voice whispered, we have nowhere to go. I kiss my sweet violet farewell. I lay down with my sweet violet as the breeze caressed her hair, and the meadow it slept within us, the warm breath of country air. then I closed my eyes under a burning sun. In the heat of the furnace, I saw a flaming gun. I tried to crawl, I just could not run. I kissed my sweet violet farewell. There we go, I Kissed My Sweet Violet Farewell. One of my many sad songs. Sorry about that. But I'm going to end up, excuse me, I'm just reaching for my harmonica. I do write lots of songs. I've written 7 so far during the lockdown. Not all of them cheerful, as you can imagine. But some are about my grandchildren. Anyway, this one is follows a theme of mine. I like where I'm a retired sociologist. I always used to look at people's work and how they work and so forth. And I've written a few songs about that subject in a kind of theme of 3 or 4 anyway. And so my final song is along that theme, and it's a song I wrote about a domestic cleaner. It's 5 in the morning, the alarm bells are ringing, the bones are asleep, but her head is still singing. The silence in the air says the snow is falling. A new day comes calling her name. She wakes up the kids, fills up the kettle. She waits for the pains in her back to settle. Her once gentle hands are now tougher than metal. A new day comes calling her name. There's some who think life is a game, a trial, only in name. But she's never sought fortune or fame, and I love her just the same. Gets off the tram and trudges in haste to where lives are lived behind locked metal gates, where Madame Docks are paid if she's 5 minutes late. A new day comes calling her name. Her knees start to ache as she's scrubbing the floors. Her back screams enough as she's polishing doors, while Madam looks on, still settling old scores. A new day comes calling her name. There's some who think life is a game, a trial, only in name. But she's never sought fortune or fame, and I love her just the same. It all comes to an end as the sun starts to set. Other ways to earn a living she hasn't found yet, and if she did, she'd still find herself saddled with debt. A new day comes calling her name. She makes her way home past downtrodden men. A kids come to greet her, they're hungry, and then she knows that the work starts all over again. A new day comes calling her name. There's some who think life is a game, a trial only in name, but she's never sought fortune or fame, and I love her just the same. There we go, a song called The Domestic. And that's all from me now. I'm signing off, so I hope you enjoyed that little set, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the online festival.
Thank you, Andy. That was fantastic. Now, I just want to read out a comment by our treasurer, Sarah, regarding the Jamaica action. She said, seeing Shakilia reminds me of what an inspiration it was to have her visit Bristol and speak to Amnesty's supporters. It's sad that 2 years later, she is still seeking justice. Please support their campaign. And as Dave said, she is truly inspirational. So please support that campaign if you can. Now, Sarah, my Vice Chair of the Bristol Amnesty Group as well, is going to give us a tour of the Books for Amnesty bookshop that's on Gloucester Road.
Cool. As many people know, the Amnesty Bookshop on Gloucester Road is another way that people can support amnesty and human rights. The bookshop, as you can see, is full of the most wonderful books donated by people. Unfortunately, like every other establishment, it had to close for lockdown. But a couple of weeks ago, we were able to open. With some differences, means that we have to only allow a couple of people in each area of the shop at any one time. And you can see the normal markings to keep people socially distanced. Plus, the other difference is obviously that we will ask people to bring and wear a face mask, and our volunteers will be wearing face masks as well. However, we just want to say a big thank you to everyone who has supported us. We will be able to take donations, but you must phone beforehand because we only have a limited space to hold the donations before they can go out onto the shelves because they must be quarantined. So please let me just say you are all welcome. You might have to queue for a short while to get into the shop, but we look forward to having you back in the shop and using this as another way to support Amnesty. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. I just wanted to give you an update on our total for our Just Giving page and the donations. We're over £400, so we're really close to our target of £500. Thank you for everyone who's donated. It's now part 2 of our quiz. If you missed the first part, don't worry, we've already done the answers to that, so you can just start afresh. We've got 13 more questions. Get your pen and papers ready. Now, so we're starting off with question 14. Question 14. Who was the Greek goddess of victory? Who was the Greek goddess of victory? Question 15. At our usual Goldney garden party, we serve tea and cakes and have live music in the building known as what? Question 15. At our usual Goldney garden party, we serve tea and cakes and have live music in the building known as the what? We're very much hoping to be back there next year. Question 16. Who was the boy who never grew up? Who was the boy who never grew up? Question 17. I've got a men's football question for you. Which country will host the 2022 FIFA World Cup? Which country will host the 2022 FIFA World Cup? Question 18. What's the surname of the US former First Lady who was the chair of the committee that drafted the Universal Declaration of Human Rights? Amnesty members will probably know this better than the general public, but question 18, what's the surname of the US former First Lady who was the chair of the committee that drafted the Universal Declaration of Human Rights? Question 19. Another Goldney related question. If you're from out of town and haven't visited our Goldney garden party before, you may find this one a little bit difficult. But number 19, there is a grotto in the grounds of Goldney Gardens which is famous for being lined with what? There is a grotto in the grounds of Goldney Gardens which is famous for being lined with what? And normally you can go for a tour of it during the Goldney garden party. But again, next year, we're looking forward to it. Question 20. Which island nation can be found 180 kilometers east of China? Which island nation can be found 180 kilometers east of China? If you've missed a question or I'm going too fast, just pop it in the chat and I'll repeat at the end. Question 21. Name the small guitar which was developed in Hawaii from a Portuguese guitar. Name the small guitar which was developed in Hawaii from a Portuguese guitar. Now for question 22, we've got a special guest, Bristol Mayor Marvin Reeves. Over to you.
My name's Marvin Rees, I'm the Mayor of Bristol. My question is, what is the national sport of Sri Lanka?
Thank you, Marvin, that was great. Number 23. In which city did Martin Luther King Jr. deliver his famous I Have a Dream speech in 1963? That's in which city did Martin Luther King Jr. deliver his famous I Have a Dream speech in 1963? Just a few more questions to go. Question 24. What video games console was launched by Microsoft in 2001? What video games console was launched by Microsoft in 2001? Question 25. Which US national park, established in 1872, is thought to be the world's first national park? That's which US national park, established in 1872, is thought to be the world's first national park? And the final question, question 26. Ben Stiller plays a dim-witted fashion model in what 2001 film? That's Ben Stiller plays a dim-witted fashion model in what 2001 film? That's the end of the quiz, and I will go through the answers shortly. Does anyone want me to repeat any? Let me know. Just see how we're doing with the donations in the meantime. Wow, we're doing great. We're on £457. Thank you so much. Some people are liking the football questions, some people not liking the football questions. I think everybody has their own set of knowledge, don't they? Right, are you ready for the answers? Oh, Andrew says question 21. That's name the small guitar which was developed in Hawaii from a Portuguese guitar. So name the small guitar which was developed in Hawaii from a Portuguese guitar. I'm sure Andy Danford would know the answer to that. Any other questions? Okay then, let's go straight into the answers. I mean, you did really well on the first half of the quiz, so I'm hoping this one stumped you a little bit more, but who knows? So question 14 was, who was the Greek goddess of victory? That is Nike. Easy when you know the answer. I imagine that is why Nike is called Nike. Question 15. At our usual Goldney garden party, we serve tea and cakes and have live music in the building known as what? It is, of course, the Orangery, and that's also where they filmed the wedding in the BBC programme Sherlock. And you can actually get married there. It's beautiful, not at the moment, but back when weddings are taking place again, you can get married in the beautiful Orangery in Goldney Gardens in Clifton. Question 16. Who was the boy who never grew up? That's Peter Pan. Question 17. Which country will host the 2022 FIFA World Cup? That is, of course, Qatar. Now, there was quite some controversy about this, and Amnesty did some investigation because migrants working on stadiums have been found to be exploited. So please take a look at that and that kind of information. Question 18. What's the surname of the US former First Lady who was the chair of the committee that drafted the Universal Declaration of Human Rights? That is, of course, Roosevelt, Eleanor Roosevelt. But you just need Roosevelt to be correct. Question 19. There is a grotto in the grounds of Goldney Gardens which is famous for being lined with what? That is shells. It is beautiful, and if you get to come next year, that would be fantastic. It's lovely to look round. Question 20. Which island nation can be found 180 kilometers east of China? That's Taiwan. Question 21. Name the small guitar which was developed in Hawaii from a Portuguese guitar. That is the ukulele. Well, I guess the Bristol Ukulele Club Band will also know about that, as well as Andy Danford. Question 22. Thank you to Bristol Mayor Marvin Reeves for asking that one. It's what is the national sport of Sri Lanka? Not necessarily the most popular sport in Sri Lanka, but the national sport is volleyball. Who'd have thought it? Question 23. In which city did Martin Luther King Jr. deliver his famous I Have a Dream speech in 1963? That is Washington, D.C. Question 24. What video games console was launched by Microsoft in 2001? That was the Xbox. Question 25. Which US national park, established in 1872, is thought to be the world's first national park? That is Yellowstone. And finally, question 26. Ben Stiller plays a dim-witted fashion model in what 2001 film? That's Zoolander. How did everybody do? Was that easier? Was that harder? Pop your answers, well, what you scored in the comments. And did anybody work out what the general theme was? Because we had 26 questions and the answers ran A to Z. Now, if you worked that one out, it was probably a little bit easier than for those who didn't. But thank you to everyone who took part. Now we've got a very special guest next. Kate Allen, who's director of Amnesty International UK, is going to be answering some questions from some local Bristol Amnesty members. Thank you, Kate Allen.
Do I still think that there is a place for letter writing? Letter writing is the bread and butter of what we do at Amnesty International, and in my job I have seen and talked to so many people where those letters have meant the whole world to them, that we haven't forgotten about them, that the world knows what is happening. And as I say that, I'm thinking of Albert Woodfox and his long time in solitary confinement. So don't ever doubt that our letter writing has its purpose. The second question is about social media and do groups still need to meet, and diversity. I think we will always want to have local groups, and we will always want as people to meet together, and we know at the moment how much we're missing that. We are social beings and we unite together. So social media is wonderful and it has huge ability to have impact in terms of campaigning. But we will always want to have a local group that knows its MP, knows its local people, knows its local media. And when we think about diversity, it's even more important. You in Bristol know who we should be talking to, where the relationships are that we should be developing to make sure that we are truly diverse. And we're putting more thought into that at the moment so that we can do better work on that front in the future. You've asked about the impact of COVID-19 on human rights, the threat that it poses, and how we will deal with that. COVID-19 is absolutely at heart a human rights issue. It's people's lives that we're talking about. And at Amnesty UK, we, with the rest of the movement, are thinking about our work there. We've done brilliant work here in the UK on PPE, domestic violence, the tracing app, on many different areas of government's response, and we'll continue to do that. At the same time, as a global movement, we're thinking about our strategy for the future and the impact of COVID and other developments in the world on that, and we'll be talking to you about that later in the year. You've asked what plans we have to cope with the fundraising shortfall this year. Our fundraising this year has taken a hit. You in Bristol know that all too well with the closing of the bookshop, but now thankfully open again. So our income has taken a hit, but in this year of 2020, we're spending less money. We're all at home. We're doing brilliant work and it's costing less at the moment. As we look ahead into next year, things could become a bit more difficult, and we're doing that work at the moment. And I'll definitely be back in touch with everybody to tell you how that work's going later in the year. You've asked if I could have the front page of all newspapers, all media in the UK, what would be the heading? My heading would be Vaccine Discovered, World Governments Unite to Ensure No One is Left Behind. I think it speaks for itself. It's all of our hopes, not just for a vaccine, but that our governments do understand that until all of us are safe, none of us are safe. And then you've asked me some lovely questions, some desert island disc type questions. So the first one is, if I could have dinner with any three activists, past or present, who would they be? My three activists would be Angela Davis. Angela Davis has been just an influence on my life since I was very, very young. An extraordinary activist, incredibly brave and very challenging in her approach to issues about racial justice and gender equality. I would love to meet her. I've seen her talk, but I've never actually met her. My second is somebody that you may have met, Derek Sturman. Derek, in 1961, saw that article in The Observer that Peter Benenson had written and wrote to him saying, I live in the Isle of Wight, what can I do? and he was given the job of setting up Amnesty in the Isle of Wight, and for the next almost 60 years that's exactly where his efforts went. Derek died last year, but he and I had quite a connection, and he is somebody who for me epitomises putting that effort and imagination and creativity and relationships into pursuing human rights. And my third person would be Marcus Rashford. What an extraordinary campaigner, and I'd love to get his thoughts and ideas about the work that we do. That would be my brilliant dinner party. Your last question has been what book and what luxury item if I was on a desert island. My book, under lockdown, I discovered George Eliot. I had read some of her work many, many years ago, and I so enjoyed Mill on the Floss. And if I could have the collected works of George Eliot, I think I'd be happy for a good while on my desert island. And my luxury, could I have coffee and the means to make it? And then I think with those two things, I would be fine. Thank you very much, Bristol Group, and I'm looking forward to the event. Bye-bye.
And a huge, huge thanks to Kate Allen for taking the time to answer members' questions. Now, we're doing amazingly well on our Just Giving fundraiser. We are almost so close to our target of £500. We're on 477. So if anyone can make a small donation, we would greatly appreciate it. Now we've got some more music coming up for you shortly, but first the Secretary of the Bristol Amnesty Group, Dave, is going to speak to you about tear gas and human rights. Over to you, Dave.
Hopefully we can all meet up again in person at Goldney next year. We're going to show you now one of Amnesty's videos concerning tear gas. It's a really good video. It highlights all the issues around it. Obviously, we've seen tear gas being used recently in the US, in Hong Kong, and it's also in Iran as well. There will be also an action that you can take if you follow it in the chat. Thank you.
It creates an intense burning sensation. You can't see straight, a lot of tearing, redness, and pain.
If you give a police officer any weapon, and gas is a weapon, there is always a risk that that officer will be tempted to misuse it.
Tear gas is often the thing that makes the freedom of assembly impossible. It also can be used as a tool of repression.
We are seeing countries that are using tear gas in an abusive manner, sometimes even punitive.
If they are firing a projectile, which is a gas canister, it shouldn't be aimed at somebody as a weapon.
Thanks for that, Dave. There's a longer, more in-depth Amnesty video about tear gas, which I urge you to watch. It's really good. And we've put a link to that in the chat, and it's also beneath the YouTube video. There's also information about how you can take action. There's a really good website all about tear gas and how it's used around the world and how that affects people's human rights. Now I've got a real treat for you, something a little bit different. We've got the amazing music by singer-songwriter Char featuring Mike Righteous.
Na, 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 yeah. Wait till you love, wait till you love, wait till you love, wait till you love, time to be loving you. Ain't got no time in general for you. You keep it icy, I keep it cool. Something you want and you should make room. Don't want to be so looking for you. Wait and leave me dry. Won't come back for the night. It's my decision, I got the vision. Oh, no, no. Wait for your love. Ain't got time to wait for your love. Wait for your love. Ain't got time to wait for your love. Ain't got time to wait for your love. No, no, no. No, no, no. I got a proposition, won't you waste a think of time? Some pieces look, you think I wanna make you mine. It's late at night and I can lie, I kinda want your chest. But I can hang on something better than you. I know better than waiting on you. 3 in the morning, do what you do. No hold on me anymore. I refuse, no. Ain't got time to wait for your love. No time to wait for you. Race on you. No time, no time, no time. Yeah. Wait and leaving me dry. Won't come back for the night. It's my decision, I got the vision. Oh, no, no, yeah. Wait for your love. Ain't got time to wait for your love. Wait for your love. Ain't got time to wait for your love. Wait for your love. No time to wait for your love. Wait for your love. No, 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 yeah. So, I'm Char, and yeah, we're doing a little set for you today. So, that was Ain't Got Time from my debut EP, Liberty. And I'm gonna do a few more songs for you today. So, the next one is a song that I wrote recently, and got Joe on the keys. It's called I Got You. Sofa bed like his lavish show. Can we really deep all this magic up? Lost any tips, tricks and tactics on letting myself go is madness. I'm sticking my head out the window, talking to the stars next to you. Why you so let up a glow, show me the rope. So I hand you my rope, I will let go. Now you know. Now you know. I got you. So, the next tune we're going to do, got a little guest on. wrote this song like 2 years ago, and then now it's featured on Mike Righteous's album.
Yes, indeed. What's going
So
on?
a cycle.
Yes. Did you say what it was called?
And this is called Begged For.
This is called Begged For.
Was I the one to make you smile? Did I have all those things you wait a while for? Did I keep you on your toes? Did I keep you far too close? Or did I hold too tight and let you walk out? Remember me, the one you begged for. Said as soon as we locked eyes, you never need more. Did I do something wrong? Staying right where I belong. Maybe you just lost what you begged for. Maybe you just lost what you begged for. It's like I could never forget what's done. This time I don't have to pretend, and then plain sight, this ride has come to an end. It ain't nice, but it's the truth, and this right, yeah, it's right. All night, tables be turning, reversing. I keep it real, put the work in. Yeah, only so long I can go on swerving and hurting. You hurt me, now I'm leaving you burning. Remember me, said as soon as we locked eyes. Did I do something wrong? Staying right where I belong. Maybe you just lost what you begged for. Maybe you just lost what you begged for.
Yeah. Look, sometimes your heart won't let you rest till you said your piece. Now the relationship dead, we can rest in peace. Yeah, maybe I don't wanna get too deep, no it's out of blue, but excuse me, I was trying to find asylum like a refugee, depending on you to rescue me. These times I was weak, running on empty, barely eating, yeah, hella smoking, rarely sleeping. Every weekend. Both regretful when you know it's true. It's easy to resent what we were going through, but I guess for the best, and I get it now. I was gonna write this in a text, but couldn't get a message out, so I said, Mike, put it in a letter, let it out. Then I get it right on time, like the present life is so precious. Think it's best I said it now, like yes. Do what's best, but who's it best for? Bless. You remember who you begged for. Life's too short to say less, so let's talk. Let's not forget we friends until death's door. Even though we're never going on another adventure, I still think about you here and there. I came round cause I can, and I'm gonna clear the air and say there ain't no hard feelings here. I know this ain't no lie, and you think this I'm deceitful. Probably but I'm trying to reach you, so you can see that I'm not evil. Now I just lost myself and I was trying to reach you. Yeah, without good reason, why would you care what I agree? Trust, we're just people. Like I said, it's a love from a free fall. And I don't even think we know what we're doing when we get into love, and our vision gets clouded by the perception we build up of others because we love them, but that ain't necessarily true. And eventually, you fall into the trap and take the L. What goes around comes back, but what doesn't kill you, build you. So shrug that. Just let it run, fam. War on a dog's back. Hey, you remember when you called me a mug and a scumbag, and now you're all alone and you're calling me to come back. Well, bun that, because I'm too busy being Mike. There will never be another me. Good luck trying to find one. It's been a nice reminder. Woo! Let's go. Thank you everyone for listening. That's me, I'm done.
Mike Righteous.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you, Char. Thanks for having me. Well done.
Alright. I've just got one more song, which is from my EP, and it's called It All Happens for a Reason. So. Yeah. Na 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 na. Yeah. Talk about timing, we are lightning in the fine print, yes. In an instant, it's a feeling that you can't buy, cause you can't buy your feelings. We falling for a reason, you got me overreading. Yeah. And this stuff feels written out. Don't know why I don't have doubts. Another face up and now. Pick it up, pick it down, pick it out for me. It all happens for a reason. It all happens for a reason, yeah. It all happens for a reason. You know I'm vibing, enticed by your energy. See this thing we call life, and through strife, yeah, we grow closer together. Call me your go-getter, no suicide letter. And this all feels written out. Don't know why I don't have doubts. Another face at me now. Pick it up, take it down, pick it out for me. Yeah. It all happens for a reason. It all happens for a reason. It all happens for a reason. Yeah. Cause I know when he left me on red, and when she left you unsaid, and we lay alone in our bed. How much love? Where is the love? He give it up, she give it up, making it up. Give me enough, give me enough. She give it up, she give it up. Where is the love? Yeah. Give me enough, give me love. He give it up, she give it up. Where is the love? Making it up, give me enough. She give it up, she give it up. Give us the love. And it all happens for a reason. For a reason. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you have a good rest of your day. And shout out to Amnesty. I'm Char.
Thank you, Char and Mike Righteous. That was amazing. And Char's new EP is out now. Search for her on social media. And I've got some really exciting news. We've actually gone over our target for our fundraising. So we are on £517. Thank you so much to everyone who's donated. We've also had some really nice comments. Someone's written, fantastic that you were able to host this. It's lovely to watch, listen and take actions, as well as to remember past Goldneys. Thank you. And someone else has written, thanks for organising such a great online event with such a varied content, enjoyable and inspiring. Happy to donate to such a good cause. Thank you. I hope you are feeling inspired, and I really hope you will take some of the actions that we've put in the comments, and also follow us on social media. We're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook. So if you'd love to join in and see what else we're doing, that would be fantastic. Now normally at Goldney, a group called Freedom from Torture joins us and has a stall, but obviously that can't take place this year, so instead we've got a brief video from them.
Hello, I'm Linda Waltz, Chair of the Bristol and Bath Group of Freedom from Torture. We would like to thank Bristol Amnesty International for all their work and for the wonderful Goldney garden parties we have attended over the years, which have given our group and many others the opportunity to raise awareness of our organisation and to raise funds for our work. You may or may not be aware that Freedom from Torture began in the late 1970s as the Amnesty International Medical Group. Then in 1985, the late great Helen Drew and a group of Amnesty volunteers established it as a separate organisation, at that time called the Medical Foundation for the Care of Victims of Torture. The name was changed a few years ago to Freedom from Torture. Around the world, torture is still used to silence and destroy lives. Freedom from Torture stands with survivors, providing therapy and support and fighting for change together. Survivor activism is at the heart of our work, and on October the 28th we will be hosting an online event about torture prevention. Kolbasia Halsu, MBE, the co-founder of our Survivors Speak Out network, is going to be taking part, together with Professor Sir Malcolm Evans, who is chair of the UN Subcommittee on the Prevention of Torture. We'd be delighted if you could join us, and we will publicise the links for tickets through Bristol Amnesty. I'm sure you're all aware the COVID-19 pandemic has been devastating for refugees and asylum seekers, including survivors of torture, all around the world. In the UK too, many of them are struggling, as most refugee support services, including those we provide, are mainly being delivered by phone or video call. This makes it a very difficult time for traumatised asylum seekers, who are often already very isolated and struggling with poor housing, poverty and mental health problems. Please give your support to refugee charities, including Freedom from Torture, at this time.
Thanks for that. That was really interesting. Now, I just wanted to tell you a little bit more about the Bristol Amnesty Group, because it would be great for those watching, if any of you want to join us, that would be fantastic. We meet on the third Monday of every month. At the moment we're doing that virtually, so if you pop us an email, we can give you all the details, the email address as well as our social media, and also how you can log on to join our newsletter are all underneath this video. So please, we would love more members. We would love for you to join us. And I think that is just about all we've got time for today. Thank you so much for joining us. I've had an amazing time. I hope you have too. We've had some amazing music, amazing quiz and all sorts. I just have so many people to thank. Just want to thank the Bristol Ukulele Club Band, Andy Danford and Char and Mike Righteous for all the fantastic music. Thanks so much to Kate Allen, Director of Amnesty UK, for that fascinating Q&A. Thanks to Councillor Asher Craig and Bristol Mayor Marvin Rees, who joined us and asked questions for the quiz. Thank you to Freedom of Torture, who we just saw their video. That was really interesting. To the Bristol Amnesty Bookshop for showing us the tour. That was fantastic. To Angus Watson, a country coordinator, for your input and all the work you do. And of course, I couldn't hold this or do this event without our fantastic committee. We've got Sarah, who's a vice chair, other Sarah, who's a treasurer, Dave, our secretary, Hannah, our chair, and my biggest thanks, or one of the biggest thanks, goes to my partner Josh, who have done all the graphics and set this whole thing up. So thank you very much to you. And then finally, I just want to thank you at home for watching. We couldn't have done it without you. I'm thrilled that we've reached our target of £500 and in fact exceeded it. That's just fantastic. That money will go to help defend human rights defenders around the world and so many fantastic things, and that is brilliant. So the final word I'm going to give to Amnesty International with this great video of just how if we all pitch in we can really make a difference. Have a wonderful evening. Thanks again.